Hi, it's Danielle. This is my perfume journal where I document my love of perfume. Well, even though I didn't give my May tray very much attention at all, I am committed to setting a monthly tray. So here is what I am putting on the tray for June. So first up on the tray, we have Breathe Me from Michela Mezzetti. This is a recent addition to my collection, and I am really enjoying getting to know this one. So the concept behind Breathe Me is a Vespa ride through Tuscany, Italy. You've got the cypress trees kind of like billowing in the distance. You've got an Aperol and Prosecco spritz for an aperitivo. You've got wisteria dripping from arches in gardens, and you've got the sweetness of like sun-warmed skin. It is airy and breezy. It is gently floral and slightly sweet. And I feel like if you cannot be in Tuscany, this is the next best thing. Since we're in Italy, I'm going to put Wit West's Gavitella on the tray. So this is a botanical perfume that's inspired by the Amalfi Coast. So you have bergamot, red mandarin, there's neroli, orange blossom, cypress, vetiver, and sandalwood. So this is a dry, woody citrus. It's all pith, no pulp. It's very crisp in texture. It's kind of muted in tone. This perfume whispers rather than yells. It wears very close to the skin. It's intimate in its projection. And this is like one of those perfumes that you want to savor in like little sips instead of big sprays. I love to wear this perfume, especially in June. So for some everyday wear, I am going to put Guess 1981 on the tray. This is a super affordable gem. I picked this perfume up for about $20. It is fantastic. You have ambrette here, there's violet, jasmine, pear, sandalwood, amber, cedar, and musk. And it shows up on the skin and on clothing exactly as the notes would suggest. It's powdery clean, it's fresh, it's sweetly musky. It has that fantastic, gorgeous combination of jasmine and pear. This is a crisp white shirt kind of a scent, but make it casual rather than dressy. This is a perfume you can drench yourself in and never really feel overwhelmed by. In fact, you kind of have to do that. It is extremely light wearing, but to me personally, that's a good thing for every day. So I would put this perfume up there with some of my best blind buys, and I will not be surprised if this perfume ends up in my most worn list for June. How about we give Profumi del Forte's By Night White a little bit of attention this month? Honestly, I'm thinking about decluttering this one. For some reason, I never reach for it. This was a Vacation Danielle purchase. I bought it because I was in this little niche shop. The bottle caught my eye, looked it up on my phone. It was a Bertrand Duchefort, and the initial skin test smelled so good on my wrist. This is a very Italian take on a citrusy Flormand. It gives me the impression of like a lemon gelato that is dripping off the cone and falling onto like the cobbled side streets of a little village when the orange trees are blooming. So the notes that stand out the most to me in this are lemon, the vanilla, the powdery violet kind of swirled in with some green orange blossom and then sprinkled with some more powdery tonka. And I would say that in the dry down, you definitely get a bit of that warm resinous benzoin peeking out. It's all wonderful. It's wonderful, but there's just something about this perfume that I feel like I haven't quite connected with. Do you have perfumes like that? Like empirically, they smell wonderful, but you don't feel a connection to them. That is kind of how I've been feeling about this perfume. So I'm going to give it a go before I say, by night white, it's not you, it's me. And if I don't end up reaching for it at all in June, then I think we have our answer about this perfume. So I have been so smitten with Burberry Goddess lately. It has been my go-to bedtime scent, and I am almost out of my decants. So I think I am going to add another vanilla perfume to my tray for nighttime. This is Creamy Vanilla Crumble from 4160 Tuesdays with the addition of peach as a customization note. And as the name would suggest, this is a creamy vanilla shortbread scent, but there is the addition of malt, hay and tobacco in here that make it feel like not your average vanilla gourmand. Those notes add a little bit of earthiness, actually more than a bit. There is a generous amount of earthiness, I'd say, to the composition that tones down the sweetness and actually makes the perfume feel like a little bit loamy. So don't get me wrong, this is still a gourmand, but in true Sarah McCartney style, there is always like a surprise element to her gourmand perfumes that add a really unique touch. And then with the addition of peach in my bottle, this makes the creamy vanilla crumble perfect for the summer when the peaches are ripe for baking. I am very much in the mood to put Jusbox's Spring Dance on the tray. This perfume was a gift from my amazing friend Aiden. So admittedly, I overlooked this brand when I first discovered it several years ago because I thought it was like a gimmicky take on the music theme. The vinyl record caps, the 78 ml bottles. I thought this is a brand that's like trying too hard, which to be fair, a brand kind of like has to have something to set it apart these days to be noticed in the sea of like a bajillion perfume releases a year. It is only June and Parfumo already has 3,150 releases listed for 2026. So anyway, some Juicebox perfumes are connected to bands like the Spice Girls, artists like there's an Amy Winehouse themed perfume, places like Studio 54, and then more generally, they are themed to genres like rap, grunge, classical. So Spring Dance is in the classical genre. It's inspired by Vivaldi's Four Seasons, the Spring Concerto. And essentially, what this is a fresh, musky floral. You have this beautiful, dewy honeysuckle note in this perfume, like it has been plucked straight off the vine, with lots and lots of green around it that echoes like hints of neroli or orange blossom. There is grapefruit and rosemary, which give this beautiful aromatic freshness to the composition. There's some jasmine sambac that like fluffs up the honeysuckle note, and it's all on a nice, soft, musky base. The perfume feels really bright and it feels optimistic, like you want to dance around a damn maypole or something like that. It is fantastic to wear outside. It's a very uplifting scent. And then finally, I am going to put this sample of Rose from Björk Berries on the tray for June. This was one of the perfumes in the Think Pink Sniff Along for May, and I was intrigued enough by this scent to put the sample in my must-wear bowl. So after I try a sample, I start sorting them into groups, like samples I want to give a proper wear to, samples I want to sample again before deciding if I'm going to give them a proper wear, and then samples that I know I can move along and share with others. So Rose went straight into the must-wear bowl. I thought this was a really interesting take on a pink floral. It's magnolia, pink freesia, and rose with some lavender, some orris butter, and musks. It's fresh, it's powdery, it's earthy, it's also zingy, and I really felt like I needed to try this one fully. Do I think this is going to turn into a full bottle? Nope. But that is not really the goal when I decide to give a sample a full wear. I just want to get to know it more. I want to get a better feel for it. I want to see how it evolves over time. I want to see how it shows up on skin, on clothing, in the air. That to me is all part of the enjoyment of being a perfume enthusiast. The exploration, the discovery, the learning. It is not always connected to collecting or buying a bottle. So this is one of those perfumes. I want to finish up the sample, give it a good wear, see what I think of it, and write about in my journal. Okay, I think that's going to be it for the June tray. This feels like the right amount and the right perfumes to focus on this month, or maybe I should say try to focus on. The idea of setting a tray for me anyway is not to be like stuck in a rigid way, but to bring some perfumes from the shelf to the forefront so that everything in my collection gets some attention over the course of the year. I would love to know if there are any perfumes you are planning on giving some extra attention to this month. I always get so many great new suggestions and recommendations from you. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for spending your time here with me. And thanks for chatting perfumes with me in the comments. I hope you have a really great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.